let's dig a bit into your earlier life. I'm always keen as to, what are the ingredients that culminated to make you the man that you are. Um, yeah, and if you could share some insight, in what was special, what was it that it took to formulate who you are today?
Well, just judging off my just being from a kid standpoint, my father was the biggest figure, biggest disciplinary. Um, he he was there for me every practice to make sure that I was training, not only just training but training hard, not wasting his time. Um,
Yeah.
that was the biggest influence and I would say factor because I did want to tread away from it as far as traditional martial arts went.
Yeah.
Um, but as I was going into more of the fight world, the competitive world, um, it was kind of I had a little bit of steering from my father in the beginning, but after a while, I took over the whole thing because of where I wanted my vision to be. Um, so I would say surrounding myself with like-minded people was hard, but it was the biggest one of the bigger factors in getting to where I needed to be. Um, and then uh, a lot of opportunities come to you, especially when you're winning. So but finding the right opportunity, seizing the right one is very important, and that's hard to do when you're kind of just treading water in this sport. So I would say I was able to see a lot in my lifetime as far as what different athletes went through, in particular in boxing, MMA, kickboxing, and Muay Thai. So just kind of seeing how their careers have gone, ended. I kind of had a sense of how I wanted my direction to be.
Yeah.
And so I just kind of stuck to my vision, and which was to be the best martial artist I could be. Whatever genre sport I'm doing, I'm going to give my 100%, and I'm going to learn it. I'm going to understand it, and I'm going to be successful in it. Um, that mindset, I think, has helped me quite a bit to get where I am, and I still believe that I'm on the lowest level as far as some of my peers. So being able to always want to learn more, study more, that drives me a lot. It helps helps keep me going in this sport for sure. Um, and and then on top of that, you got to just seize the moments that are given to you. And
Mm-hmm.
I've had a lot of great opportunity to fight on big platforms, and I've had opportunities to fight on shitty platforms, and you have to make do on both. Um, Sometimes you got to take fights that you don't necessarily want, but it's going to help propel you into the next.
Yeah.
And then you got to say yes to those big fights that are definitely going to be your moment maker,
Mm-hmm.
and really excel your career.
Yeah.
So a lot of swimming, I guess, on my own, but at the same time, emulating past, listening to past fighters and how they've gone
Mm-hmm.
about their career.
Yeah.
A little bit judging myself to them. That was a hard question. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, well, it usually shows a very interesting insight into the mindset, of the adult version of who you are now. But just
Yeah.
just kind of continuing that, you were influenced by Kung Fu, and just to share a quick insight, my dad's from Hong Kong, and he was a very good Wing Chun martial artist, and he used to teach, and I think with the Bruce Lee movies, Jackie Chan and Jet Li, that generation of movies, was that also something that inspired you And
Yeah, definitely.
yeah,
Yeah, the had all the Bruce Lee tapes,
for
the good
sure.
ones,
Yeah,
not
yeah,
the Bruce Lee,
yeah, yeah. The full nunchuck
was
scene in Enter the Dragon rather than the edited one, right?
yeah, I wasn't I actually wasn't a big Enter the Dragon fan. I was
Really?
more Fist of Fury, Big
Oh, of
Boss,
course. Yeah, yeah.
um,
Way of the Dragon.
Big Boss especially. Way of the Dragon I liked a lot because that was the one he put his biggest touches on.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, the Bruce Lee was pretty much for an American, Chinese American. It was like really the only the only guy, and I didn't take Jackie Chan seriously, because his
Yeah,
movies were a bit more funny.
yeah,
Um, but Bruce Lee was the guy for me.
for
I
sure.
wasn't a
Yeah.
big karate fan or anything like that. Like
Hmm.
to me, I felt like I was doing traditional kung fu, so
Yeah,
um, being involved in that, there was kind of biases to karate and kung fu,
yeah,
so Bruce Lee was the biggest martial arts influence.
yeah. Well, speaking of Enter the Dragon, just happened to watch it again recently, but just fascinated to see that in the opening scene, he's actually fighting Sammo Hung,
Correct.
another legend, and he beats him with an armbar, and then that just
Yeah.
blew my mind just to think all these years later, when MMA is such a massive thing, and
Right.
jujitsu, but just to go back and realize, oh, Jackie Chan was into. I mean, sorry, Bruce Lee was, genuinely one of the inspirations into mixing the best bits of different martial arts. So
Right.
I know that you're not limiting yourself just to Muay Thai, kickboxing, and there's also MMA. What what is your true passion when it comes to martial art? What is your goal as far as expressing yourself in that regard?
Yeah. The goal for me is to just show the highest form of martial arts that I can possibly attain,
Mm-hmm.
and there's no way around that without studying multiple arts. And I am an enthusiast as far as martial arts goes,
Yeah.
um, but more on the physical side. Some people are more of the collectible side. I'm more of the physical side, learning all the traits
Mm-hmm.
and the philosophies behind it, the history, a lot of behind the martial art and why it was used. Um, so those things to me, like that's what I want to show is that I'm a practitioner of martial arts. I can evolve into anything. What a true martial artist is
Yeah.
I'm not
Be
just
water.
a combat
Yeah.
fighter.
Yeah.
I live and breathe this into my life as well, into my lifestyle. So it's a great lifestyle to have. It's a great mindset to have, and I want to just be able to showcase that every time I compete. That man, this guy knows. Like you just see a glimpse of it. I mean, we only get 9 minutes to fight in one right now, and
Yeah.
then you only get to be able to do so much, and then like you have to tailor the fight to your opponent. So there's only so much I get to express all the time.
Yeah.
But something like MMA that has come along and so many variables to win and lose by, that is highly intriguing. It opens up,
Right.
expands the mindset to you can do certain things that maybe haven't been seen before, and that's for me being a first is it's very little bit it's very something I like to do, be first at it. So that would be nice to do more MMA so I can showcase something that
Yeah.
potentially not be seen.
Mm-hmm.
Those, but then I like fighting in Muay Thai because it brings a whole different fight, a whole different spectrum of fighting, um, and you have to do it at a high level. You have to be high level, and you have to study, and you have to do all those things correctly. Um, And I am proud that I'm able to kind of bounce back and do those things, transition from sport to sport.
Yeah.
Because I do get bored. I do get bored just doing one particular thing.
Yes.
Even MMA can get boring, wrestling, jujitsu all the time. I'm fond of it, but it's not my forte. Um,
Yeah,
and then,
sure.
you don't get the same kind of scraps you do, and specifically one championship Muay Thai. Like
My gosh,
you're
yeah.
you're
Yeah.
getting you're getting those fights, like those fights that most people won't see too often, unless they're in the wrong department and they get with the wrong guy. But fights
Yeah.
like I'm having one, those are these are legacy fights, and they allow me to grow too. Like you don't really get barn burners like that in MMA,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, just in general, just being able to do any martial art that I'm involved in at the highest level is very, very much what I want to be shown at,
Cool.
display.
So do you believe that you're chasing something bigger than yourself? Like this, do you have like a sense of legacy or purpose?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I've been chasing I've been chasing the highest platform to showcase my martial arts skill, and to not only just display it but conquer it, be a winner at the highest level, like one championship, being a winner in kickboxing, Muay Thai, and being the champion of those divisions, and being the champion of MMA. That is a goal I've set out as an amateur a long time ago, to be like the triple crown. I wanted a triple crown. I wanted to get to win a belt in Muay Thai, a belt in kickboxing, a belt in MMA, boxing, whatever it could be. But striving for that has keeping me in this game, has kept me keen to the game. Be a winner at the highest level, like one championship, being a winner in kickboxing, Muay Thai, and being the champion of those divisions, and being the champion of MMA. That is a goal I've set out as an amateur a long time ago, to be like the triple crown. Sometimes I look at it like, this might be a tall task, especially as I'm older, but then you fight and you're like, it's right there for me. It's if I could make this magic happen, it can be there for me. I just maybe need to tweak a little bit more, manifest a little bit more, and it's right there for me.
Yeah. Well, we actually first met in 2016. You flew over to the UK. You fought on the Muay Thai Grand Prix, and you fought against who's my good friend, Carlton Liu. We had a quick interview there, but you lost on a what's it could be discussed as a controversial decision. How did you handle that? And just in general, what is your mindset when it comes to adversity and that bounce back ability?
Yeah, when it first happened, I was pretty upset. You don't want to lose your O. So Carlton took my O at the time.
Yeah.
But because I guess it was controversial, it did help propel my status as who I was as an individual. It got me more notoriety. To me, it ate at me. I ain't gonna lie. It ate at me for a good month, and then actually following up after that fight, I ended up breaking my arm in practice, and so I was having to like sit on that loss for a while, and then rehab some injury. I just wanted to get to right the wrong, I guess. And that was being not just saying making the excuse why I lost the fight or whatnot. I had to make it so that it was always in my favor, that every time that I fought, that it that was just, it was always me. It didn't matter. It didn't have to be a coin toss of who won this. It was always going to be me. And I had to definitely like do new things after that fight to try to evolve myself. But my mindset was always there to get better, like, you know, to be the best that I could be. And you know, I didn't dwell on it too long. I just wanted to get back to work. If we were able to get a rematch, that would have been great. But I just was like, it's on to the next one. Like, you know, the best in the world lose, and the way they bounce back is by getting back up and correcting themselves, and you know, getting back in there. That's basically what started to happen again. You know, got another fight, won, got my confidence back, and got, you know, some new training, new training regimen. So start implementing those things, and you know, you chip away at it. You know, just a little bit here, and you're starting to look like that statue you want to be, that chiseled up statue.
Yeah. Well, you know, one championship has, I wouldn't say burst on the scene, because those in the know have seen it bubbling around for a while now. But can you talk us a little bit? How did you first hear about it, and what was your path to one championship?
Yeah. So when I got signed to Glory was when one was like really starting to come up again. They had gone through some things where they changed the name, started implementing the hydration, and more so they were pushing the Muay Thai and kickboxing a little bit more. They were having the $1 million shows and the Grand Prix thing. And so at the time I was in a weird decision making with Glory. So I was doing very well with them, and there was nothing to doubt that Glory was going to be my home. Of course, when the pandemic hit, was the biggest drawback. And
right.
For kickboxing wise, you know, in our state, not, I mean, in the world, it's just not prevalent, specifically in U.S. of course. So I didn't know if this was going to be the end of martial arts for a while, you know, for a while. And kind of was watching the UFC, and they were like, well, we just bought an island, and we're going to put fights on everything. If you want to fight, you get to fight. You're not scared to fight, you get to fight. So I'm like, man, like, I'm not scared to fight. I want to fight. Like, but really there wasn't any discussions with Glory, so I didn't know what was going on, and I still had contract with them. And I was more so like, I want to continue martial arts. So if kickboxing at the highest level is not going to happen, you know, what's next for me? And that would be MMA. And so I kind of went back towards my MMA to get that going, because I was like, look, this thing looks pandemic proof to me. Like, and I want to fight. He'll give me a fight next week. You know, I just need to get myself through the door to UFC. And basically, I did a couple UFC, a couple MMA fights, and it was the substance behind it. You know, I knew I was gonna win, but like, it was just, it almost felt demeaning for me, because the fight was so easy, and the guys that were fighting, they were canned. So the guy was like, oh, wow, like, like this is exactly not what I want. I don't want to be going backwards in my fight career. Like I'm nowhere near what I want to be, and that's I need those kind of fighters to get that out of me. And I called up my management, who I had just signed with, because I was tired of really dealing with the back and forth. I was like, let me just get a manager to deal with this for me. And one had already asked for me when I was with Glory, and so there was a bit of talks there, and I had gone to an event to support some fighters, and I kind of knew that they wanted me in the, at least in the kickboxing Muay Thai scene, and so I played that off a little bit to my manager that Glory still wants me. They're offering this, and one I know wants me. So let's see if we can get a little bit of negotiation going.
Yeah.
And through that, I was able to sign with one, sign through both three different, genres with the kickboxing, Muay Thai, and MMA.
So you did, okay, yeah.
But at first, I didn't know with one either, because they were based in Asia with pandemic, and Asia was really strict, and so I didn't know how that was going. They were doing some tape delay stuff that I wasn't fond of. We kind of had to keep the fight a secret for a week or two, and then they'll air the fight on. And I wasn't too fond of that. Everything kind of, right when I signed, everything kind of settled itself out. So, opened up, Bangkok opened up, and didn't have to get shots or anything to go over there. So that was a relief for me to be able to.
And so your first fight was that Mehdi Zatouk fight?
Yeah, right. First fight was with.
Yeah, so talk us through that, because that was an unfortunate ending, right? What happened? There was obviously something that happened to your eye. You were clenching your eye. You managed to get a reverse elbow in as he came to kind of capitalize on that, but he saw you had grabbed your face. So tell us what actually happened in that moment, and then again going back to this idea of mentally dealing with adversity. Where were you at after that?
Yeah, well, just going off the fight with the injury, he basically got a clean right cross right into my eye socket, and like basically blew out what is called the orbital floor. Okay. So he didn't break the front of the bone. He broke pretty much where my eyeball sits. And like immediately, as soon as he did it, my eye was just like scrambled up, like it just.
But did you feel a pop? Did you feel a break? Did you feel did you hit? Did you more than hit?
Yeah, I felt the shot, and I was like, the adrenaline's in there, and that's happening. But like if you're feeling this through the adrenaline, there's something really wrong. And as I was kind of looking to see, my eye just was pretty much fuzzed up, and I was seeing triple. Just at the peripheral where I was looking, it's kind of crossed now, just because it sits a little bit lower.
But did the panic set in, because potential long-term damage to the eye, the unknowing?
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Even just trying to walk down the street with one eye closed, it's like, okay, this is a challenge, right? But to be in a literally a life or death situation,
Yeah, I'll give it to him. He was catching me. He caught me like 2 times beforehand, and particularly after he did that one, I was like, man, can go back out there and risk this, or we might just
live to fight another day, which in hindsight was a great decision, right? Because, but so now you just started your one championship career with a loss, and then then what's the mindset? Because now you're going to fight with the Chinese guy, but Han
Right.
Zihao, Han Zihao, and that's what 6-7 months later.
Yeah. So there was a lot of personal things happening in my lifetime at that moment, actually. My father had just passed away a few months earlier to stage 4 prostate cancer. I was taking care of him for his final months. And
Right. Yeah.
after that, my daughter was born. And
Mm-hmm.
so it was just like a roller coaster. And
Sure. Yeah.
I felt I needed to fight, but in a sense, I just wanted to go out and fight, like ram my head through the door type deal, like
Yeah.
somebody punched the shit out of me type deal. It was very not a good way to enter into training, and on top of that, just training wise, I was sourcing it here, so it was very much on my own time, and didn't not taking anything away from Medi, but I did not do anything that I should have been doing properly. And so after he broke my eye, I said to myself, like, I was like, man, like, I was just telling myself how stupid I was. And like, you know better. You cannot be doing this. You cannot be fighting the best. And, fire with fire. That's not smart. That's not how you got here. That's not what you need to be doing. So I told my family, I was like, the only way I will be getting back in the cage for myself is if I give it 120, 50%. I have to go all in. So that means I have to lose time, with family. I have to lose time again. I have to go overseas, particularly if I'm fighting in Asia. I have to do these camps, and I have to get back to what I know I was beforehand. And I wasn't training anywhere close to that. So when I got out to Thailand, it was for 8 weeks for the first camp, and so I did all that at Sitsong, and it was everything that I needed as a fighter. The training was, I hated it every day. I didn't want to train. The sleeping arrangements sucked. I wasn't in my nice, comfy bed. There was nothing to do around Sitsong either. It's very secluded. So you're just kind of trapped in this, like, I'm back to just nasty grind again. And this is what I wanted, because being a business owner and all that other stuff is distraction.
Parents and yeah.
So I was like, we got to do this, and it don't get me wrong, leading that fight week, your emotions sometimes can get the better of you, and you can be like, oh, like, should I really be doing this? What if he breaks me again? Or what if, I'm no good? You get all those little
So is
things
that a common
entering.
occurrence? I was going to ask specifically about fight week. You mentioned something, and as I work in the mental side with a lot of fighters, fight week is a big challenge, right? Throw in a bit of, weight cut, loss. I mean, and then all the personal stuff, like you said, it could be looking after the parent or the kids or the this and that. How do you usually, what's fight week usually like for you?
Well, for me, the way
mentally,
I like
mentally.
Mentally, I like to be done with training. Like, I don't want to do any more pads. I'm sick of pads. I'm sick of training. I just want to fight. Like, if I'm at that stage, I know mentally most of the time I'm ready. And then, you got to go through the little things, because you haven't eaten. So now you're kind of getting frustrated on certain things. You may look back and like, I don't have to look back and I haven't done enough, because if I'm training like that for 7 weeks, I'm tired of training. I'm done. So
Yeah.
I don't look back and be like, oh man, I could have done more. No, I
Hmm.
absolutely have done my best training. That's why I did it. And that's why I'm happy on fight week, because I'm here. I can relax and just, I don't have to crush the pads.
Hmm.
So, but yeah, there's certain things, particular with Hansi Howe. I was like, here we go. Like, this guy's not no slouch. He's has more
Hmm.
experience than me, and more experience in one.
Yeah.
Um, and he's done very well. And he's a big puncher too. So, you know, confidently, I was a little up and down,
Hmm.
but always telling myself that the guy that's gonna get in there, like, he's gonna do it. So I just got to get to the ring, get in the ring, and I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
Um, but it's up and down. Sometimes you think about. I'm more particular Hansi Howard. I was thinking about everything that I shouldn't have been thinking about. Like, am I going to be able to afford a house type deal when I get back? Is the gym going to be okay? Like, I was thinking about other
Yeah.
things,
Wow.
and like that. Um,
And how do you deal with it in those moments? Are you able to find some respite, or do you have
but
to keep yourself busy? Because that's an
I mean,
inevitability, right? The doubt, the concerns, the negative thoughts, and the closer that you get to fight day, right? That I can imagine they magnify, they recycle more frequently, right?
yeah. So that that for me at this stage, it's a reminder of where I'm at. It's a reminder that these thoughts are going to happen during this time, and I'm doing everything that I'm supposed to be doing,
Hmm.
and it's going to happen. So I can either deal with this in a negative manner, or just be positive through it, and because I know once I fight, I'm gonna want to fight again. I'm gonna be happy. I'm gonna be sad.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
might as well just wait for that there.
Hmm.
But the challenging part, yeah, those things will creep in. I think
Yeah.
if you do your preparation 100%, it's like those thoughts won't creep in as hard. But
Hmm.
it's a fight. You're putting yourself in such a vulnerable situation.
Yes.
It's magnified. It's every stage. I'm fighting. I'm crying. So
Hmm.
it's all my U.S. fans. It's the bigger
Mm.
show. So it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, but at the same time, I remember, like, this is how it's
Mm.
always been. From
Yes.
my first amateur fight
Hmm.
to my championship fight to
Yeah.
even fighting somebody I know I should clearly win. It's
Yeah.
always been kind of like
Hanzi Hao, Hanzhe Hao, the Chinese pronunciation. So the knockdown, right? And are you very much in the flow in a fight where you're 100% there, or are you, as the fight's going on, you're having doubts, and what if he does that, or what is your mentality? And then let's throw in then when you got knocked down, does
yeah, yeah.
what's going on? Does that, oh my gosh, now that I'm down, I'm at a disadvantage. The judges are going to score this heavily. Can you give me some insight into what's going on when that happens?
Yeah, particularly Hansi Howe fight. I wanted to just get through the rounds. I was like, get through the first round,
Yeah.
like let's not have this guy break you.
Mhm.
And got through that. Like, I literally walked back to the stool and was like, okay, all right, first
Yeah.
round's done.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the cornermen are telling me stuff, and I'm like, all right, just he got me good here. I'm thinking about it, and then I'm like, all
Hmm.
right, second round, gonna come out a little bit more,
Hmm.
be a little bit more on my toes. And
Yeah. Yeah.
uh, as I was going through that round, he ends up, like, just catching me because
Yeah.
I
A,
was
sw-
getting
a sweet left hand. Yeah.
yeah, he catches me with a left hand. I could have sworn I had seen it coming, but he, like, kind
Hmm.
of delays it, and he catches me off guard. And then immediately I'm like, oh shit, I was standing up too tall. I
Mm.
was reaching out for him. Like, I didn't have my legs underneath
Hmm.
me like I should have.
Yeah.
So as soon as I got dropped and I kind of spun back up, I knew I was okay. I was like, if he
Okay.
gives me
Yeah.
an 8 count, that's fine. It's even better. I'll
Yeah.
get my legs back for sure. But it happened. So it kind of was like, all right, like you're either you've done all this 8 weeks to go
So
out and
that
shit the
creeps in,
bed,
yeah,
or
yeah,
you're
yeah,
gonna
yeah,
go out,
yeah.
and start like it's do
Mhm.
or die now. You're gonna start going after this guy. So
So did it make the
yeah,
win more euphoric then? To come out with such an impressive, TKO win
yeah, it was
yourself. Is that because you always want to see that balance. You don't want to see a domination. You want to see a back and forth. And then the guy that got knocked down to
right.
then come back and win, right? It's that story that people want. Did you feel that as well? Were you very euphoric in that in the manner that you won and in the
Oh
manner that you went down in the second round to come back and to pull that off?
yeah, I felt more so like I was happy to go through that get through that.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's not something that's happened a lot in my career. I haven't
Mm-hmm.
been dropped, I haven't been
Yeah.
knocked out.
Yeah.
So coming to one, it's everything's quicker. So gloves are smaller, so you're it's a lot of new surprise. So I'm glad I got through it. Like I said, I didn't want to be broken in the fight. Didn't
Mm-hmm.
want my face broken.
Yeah.
So I was happy. Like I was happy that I was able to get the win on the big platform. Just
Yeah, because you would have
tell my
been two losses then, right? At that point, right? So that was
could have
a
been
huge,
0-2.
yeah, that was a huge turning point, right? So, let's talk about the fun stuff now, like this past week, and your lace fight against Rambolek.
Yes.
How were you feeling? What was your mindset about your perception about the whole fight?
Yeah, they approached me with the fight about 3 months prior, and I was happy. I was really much happy to get back in the ring. Like I needed to be consistent.
Mm-hmm.
So I actually I thought I might be fighting somebody else,
Mm-hmm.
but he ended up losing. I won't say his name, but
Yep. Okay.
he was he was coming up through one company and he was doing really well. One of Medi's guys, and
Mm.
so I thought I was going to be fighting him, who was very much similar style to Rambo, like big puncher,
Yeah.
heavy handed. So when they gave me Rambolek, I was like, okay, this is fine. I'm studying with the Thais. I'm cultured into it. So fighting a Thai fighter, I kind of understand the philosophy behind how they fight, how they move. So and I also have a pretty decent record against Thais. I'm now 4-0 against Thais.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, okay, this is not my Muay Thai is not going to be like his, but my hands will definitely be something he's never seen before
Yeah.
and be able to compete with.
And
So
who was the underdog on the card?
I was the underdog.
Heavily,
I
because
get
I
my
know
bread, but
sometimes they're a bit weird in the way that they do the favorites, but was
uh,
it?
I know DraftKings had me underdog plus 195, and then the Ties had me underdog at something else.
Mm, okay.
Wasn't like too far off, but I was the underdog.
So does that add more
Um,
pressure or motivation in your eyes?
a little bit of both,
Yeah.
a
Mm-hmm.
little bit like I'm always going to be the underdog in coming over from the West to here. Like
Mm-hmm.
at this stage, there's not going to be really many guys who are going to fight with lesser record than me.
Which is great for you, right? It gives you an opportunity to it's that step, it's that leap that you want, right?
Right. So I've competed in quite a different sport. So, I utilize those tools that have, got me where I needed to be. And
Mm-hmm.
for this fight particular, like I knew it was going to be my hands, my hands were going to be the one that was going to send this fight over. And I knew he had strong punches, but
Yeah.
they're different, and
Yeah.
so it was just more of like, okay, I need to weather this kid's like, he's gonna be young, hungry, he wants to win. He brought actually more, in my opinion, more distractions than I did. He brought in his big time promoter. They flew him into a really good gym, Kia Pet, and they wanted him to win and be that guy. And I've heard that Chatri wanted him to be like the next Rod Tang for him. So there was a little bit of that.
So a bit of an upset then. Yeah. An
Yeah, I
upset
mean,
for him, but a wonderful platform now for you, like to project your,
right.
your
Well,
stock and value. It wasn't just a win; it was
correct.
your moment to just step in the world of the One Championship fan base and the global, kickboxing Muay Thai fan base.
Right.
And just very quickly, as I said, I'm all about mindset, and you kind of touch your forehead like as you're going, pre-fight.
Yeah.
Is that it? Is that a ritual? And can you just explain? Is that like a positive mindset affirmation, or is it's game time? Can you explain why you do that and what did that mean?
Yeah, it was more game time. I had my daughter's hat on, her baby hat on my Moncol,
Yeah.
and just reassuring, like, this is who I'm doing this for. This is my family that I'm doing this for.
Yep.
This is it's personal to me, of course, but now there's a big factor behind this. There's my health for one, when I'm doing this, and then there's the financial gain that I can have, and
Yeah.
for me, it's just a reminder that why I'm doing it, and to bring my daughter spirit with me is very powerful.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I've had my family behind me, but this is different. This is having my family on my back, a little more so. So
Yes. Yeah.
yeah, it makes it I makes it sweet. It makes it going out there, putting out the work prior, and then getting the
Yeah.
victory like I did. And
An
knowing
amazing victory, by the way. I can't emphasize how impressive and like you mentioned, 3 3 minute they go by in an instant. And
go by
like
quick.
final round, it's like, okay, it's going to go to the scorecards, it's going to go to the decision, and then you didn't even let the round really get. I think Rich Franklin, as soon as, I'm sure you've watched that like many times now, but as soon as Rich Franklin gives you the first 2 rounds, it's almost like you hear him and it's like, all right, cool, I'm just going to end it here. And yeah, so congratulations on that fantastic win. Can you just walk us through that, round 3?
Yeah, I mean, was a lot quicker than I remember it when I was fighting. But after there's a part after round 2, basically he threw like triple kicks, and he cracked my arm, and I was like, damn.
And he pokes you in the eye as well, right?
Pokes me in the eye, and
Yeah,
kind of sticks his fingers in my face quite a bit.
Same
the
eye?
eye poke,
Same eye?
the same eye, the same
bloody
eye.
eye. Damn. Yeah.
It wasn't like, it was more like just a general eye poke. I wasn't like, oh, my eye is gonna fall out or anything. It was just like he poked me straight up in the eye.
Yeah.
But yeah, he cracked my arm, and like I was like, shit, just don't make a face. Don't make a face or anything. Just walk back to the corner, and the ref knew. He kind of caught onto it, and he calls the doctor in, and the doctor comes and sees me, and it's like, oh, are you okay to fight? And I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. Like, it's just fine. And then 3rd round, I look over, and I'm like, okay, like, I'm ready to go. Is he ready to go? And he's just like slouched over, kind of like,
so the so that actually gives you a tell all right, and that gives you a little
Oh yeah,
buoyancy. It gives you a little
I
boost
knew,
knowing that
I knew,
so that his body language was a big tell and a big
big time.
boost indicator of okay, interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, it was. I knew he went hard on that second round. I mean, he went
Mm,
hard as hell, and I was like, okay, he's he's gonna give me his burst, and then you just, I gotta just keep chipping away at him and
yeah, yeah, yeah,
backing him down, making him feel uncomfortable, like he's not confident.
yeah.
And I thought it was gonna be over after the knee. Like I was like, damn, I got the knee
What
off,
the
and
flying
I
knee
felt
or
it
the
crack
yeah,
his chin,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
and I was like, damn, that shit.
yeah,
I was like, all right, like
yeah,
it's tough.
yeah,
Um, but as we're getting into the third round, I'm like, all right, I got to hit him before he breaks my arm off and it's falling
mm,
off. Uh, Throws one more kick and he hits it. It's like, all right, go. You got to go. You got to go.
yeah,
Like, he's going to
mm,
take my arm. And I just knew I had to get him. He wasn't used to the cage. And like,
yeah,
I've been in the cage before. I backed up into the cage and it posts you straight up as soon as you hit it.
yeah,
And I
yeah,
was like, all right, back this kid up and I'm just going to just fire off. And um, instead of throwing the jab, it looks like a
mm,
jab. I kind of throw a little bit of a hook to
yeah.
open up his guard, and I sending this. And as he's going down, I see him still kind of stumbling, and I kick him in the head at the same time. And
I mean that was
I
beautiful, just like to connect like that, and then like when we used to play Street Fighter and you make combos, it's like to hit, and then before they
right.
touch the ground, you hit, you catch the combo,
Yeah,
and what a
yeah,
wonderful like magical Kodak moment, just to keep watching back, just to have it, in all your future fights when they refer to you and they look for like, what footage can we use, that will forever now
right.
be one of your legacy moments where the underdog comes and finishes with a beautiful, beautiful, KO finish like that.
Yeah, it's a special one for sure.
So, you mentioned you got hit on the arm, you didn't want to show any emotion on your face. You were also
Yeah,
presented with, Chatri's special, bonus, his 50K bonus, and you're trying not to show it on your face, but then the bottom lip starts to and then the emotion comes. What's going on through your mind? Why were you so emotional at that point?
it's been a long journey. It's been a long journey to not only get to the platform, but to make some financial gain from it.
Oh, of
This is
course,
not
yeah,
this is not a sport that pays out very well. It's just, quite frankly, it's not what we do.
mm-hmm.
So to be rewarded with that, it's it's nice. It's
Yeah,
one of
I can
those
imagine.
things that worked. It's not just a belt, but you've worked hard for a
Mm-hmm.
payday like this.
Yeah,
So yeah, it was like, wish I was maybe pre-pandemic when I got it. I could buy a lot more with it, but
yeah, yeah,
it still goes a long way, and
mm-hmm.
it's my biggest payday ever,
Mm-hmm.
and it's
Well, I
one of
think
those
that one is,
things like that doesn't. It's just yeah. It's a nice cherry on the top, big fat cherry, but it's really rewarding when you get to finally get some fruit from your labor.
yeah,
Um, it's a long haul on this game, and most guys, specifically from the West, it's hard to gain a name, to gain
mm,
exposure,
yeah,
and you have to you have to take a lot of underpaying jobs, and so
yeah,
to get to one and have that opportunity, that incentive to, okay, if I do put out a good performance, it will be rewarded. And
mm-hmm.
that does drive me. I'm a knockout artist, so if you're paying for
Yeah,
knockouts, I'm gonna go for it. If you're not
yeah,
gonna give me a knockout, then you're gonna just get me winning the fight.
yeah,
Not saying that I don't give it 100, but when you put that incentive out, hell yeah, more inclined to go out there and really put it out there.
But not only that, but it's like, to have Chattrie's seal of approval, to get that to get that financial pat on the back from Chattree. It's like getting that gold buzzer on America's Got Talent or something,
Yeah,
after the
it's one of those
performance.
things.
Yeah.
Good and bad, you don't want the whole world knowing that you got 50K.
Yeah.
At the same time, I wanted to have my Ali moment because I knew he had Rambolek picked. So I'm like, I know you had him picked, but it's okay.
It's the nature of the sport, right? Yeah. And then that's why I'm saying it makes that victory so much more sweeter and so much more impressive for everyone watching, and everyone's really keen now on your next step. So I can see you're at your gym now, so just share a little bit about, what you do, what's going on with the gym, just so tell the people a little bit about that. And also just give us an insight now as to, have you spoken with one since that fight? What's the plans now? And just a little bit about the arm in the sling.
Yeah, so the gym here, Florida Kickboxing Academy, we established in 2015. Then same place, got a new lease, everything. Have about 180 some odd students. So I have a good crew here of trainers that not only compete but also go and learn from trainers as well. We have a good family-friendly environment. It's much a niche sport here, as it is almost anywhere, but particularly in Palm Beach, Florida, like there's no kickboxing.
Oh, really?
So we are the one. Yeah,
okay.
We are the one of the few that is active in the scene, not only in the national scene, international. And it's been a blessing for me. I've been able to teach and be an owner of my teaching. Being a younger man when I started it, I started when I was 26, and now I'm 34. I've had to deal with elderly people to young kids, and it's really grown me as a person and as a character. So yeah, it's been if it wasn't working, I probably would have left it, but I can't leave something that I've started working at. Like, I can't just let it go. So it's been a great ride here. I love it. I'm already, since I'm back, I'm like, I want to do so many upgrades to the gym and just keep it going, keep my investment up. But as far as fighting, for one, again, we're recruiting for next year. I have to get surgery tomorrow, so I'll be getting plate and screws in my ulna, and from there we'll start the process of getting back. Have to just, get back stronger. It's going to be, uphill challenge again, something that I'm used to. And
right.
Hopefully, next opponent, top 5 in the division. It's not going to be a top 5, and maybe they'll push me into an MMA fight. I would like to showcase myself in MMA world as well. But definitely would like a top 5 in the Muay Thai.
Anyone in particular that think would match your style and be a good one?
Match my style? Nobody's matching my style.
No, not match your style, but they say style makes fights. One that again, another heavy hitter that you think would put on a great show for the audience.
Well, there's a couple guys who need fights. I mean, there's Nongo who needs a comeback fight. There's Samapet who needs a comeback fight. And there's Liam Harrison who needs a comeback fight. I believe any one of those would be great matchup for me.
Amazing. Yeah. What a fantastic division as well. It's incredible.
Yeah, stacked up. And of course, would like to, get that shot at Haggerty. I feel, my skill set will outshine his. Pecking order is okay with me. Can't really do much right now, so just won't wait too long. I'm going to be right back on it as soon as I be training. So we'll see next year.
We'll see. Well, I've always said, you're such a likable, humble in victory, humble in defeat. You really embody that warrior spirit. So just, an honor to get some insights into, into what goes through your mind, and to just, sharing that wonderful victory that you had last week. And I would just like to end with the final question, which I ask everybody, is what matters most to you in life?
At this stage in my life, what matters most is to see my daughter happy, healthy, successful. As I don't want her to be too independent, but being able to take care of herself, chase her dreams like her father's doing, and be that great father, that I had in my life. So, but personal, it's get those belts. Let's get those belts, baby. Let's get those belts, and let's call it a day.
Well, I am extremely excited to continue following you on your incredible journey. And again, thank you so much for taking the time. And I would love to do this again, after your next fight.
Absolutely, let's do it again.
All right. Well, thank you for that. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it gave you an opportunity to share. So what I'm going to do is
a good one.